Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here doing my free comic book day haul. I initially planned on doing a vlog for this. I still have the vlog and I will put that up at some point. I just had a lot of stuff to catch up on. I was catching up on gaming videos and just work stuff. And I didn't have time to actually edit the vlog that I had for free comic book day. So I'm still going to do that because in this I'm literally just going through what I got instead of going through the whole day, because of course you travel into different stores and I got a ton of different footage. I even went to a special event, which is what I'm going to start off with talking about. But there's a lot of stuff that actually happened on the day from where I went and things that I have, things that I experienced and things that I unfortunately didn't get to experience. So definitely check that out in the future. It'll be up at some point. I really don't know. I would try to have it by this weekend at least. So that's the plan, but I still got other random work crap that I have to do. But just to start things off, these are the things that I got that were not actually comics, but of course you always get those little free posters or some cool free posters sometimes. But the first thing I got was actually this poster. This is from the Riff. So this is a local radio station. They did an event where they gave out a free comic book. And one of the things that they gave out as well, this is known as the Riff Rock Girl. So that's the thing that they have every year. There's a new Riff Rock Girl every year. This year, her name was Brooke. So they gave out calendars, and she signed, of course, with her picture on it. And I'm trying to make sure that doesn't fall over. And then they had a special Riff comic book. Whoops, there it is. With, it's a Riff, Rock Girl comic. So this I thought was pretty cool. I have it signed somewhere I couldn't see. Right here, it's signed by one of the guys that's on the show, James. So that was pretty awesome. He actually co-wrote this, if I remember right. I got number 25 out of 250. So this is really awesome. It was the first event I've gone to for this station in a super long time, and it was 15 minutes from here. It was basically I go down the road, and then I make one turn, and then I make one more turn, and then I just take that road down for 10 more minutes, and then I was at the store. So I was I have to get there and get a free comic. And it was really awesome. I haven't read this yet, but I do plan on reading it, and I'm actually going to do a review for this just because it's a limited edition thing, and I just like the station, so I figured I'd review it at some point. But going through some of the other posters that I got a double-sided thing. So we got Luke Cage on this side. Of course, I'll back it up so you can see the whole thing. So we got Luke Cage here, and then we got, of course, with Guardians of the Galaxy recently coming out, a Rocket and Groot, two different covers there, so I like that. I especially like the Rocket one where everyone's in the suits. I like that, that's pretty funny. Then we have the Deadpool, Spider-Man, Till Death Do Us thing. So it's Deadpool, and then it's Spider-Man Deadpool, and then it's Deadpool and the Mercs for Money. So that's that side, and then the other side is the Amazing Spider-Man, Return of Norman Osborn. So that really, I always consider this serious art. Every time I see it, that's what I always think of. I just call it the serious art style, because that's how I feel when I look at it. So I got those. I got this poster from Green Brain Comics, which a lot of you guys might actually know, especially if you're in the area. Pretty big store in the area. So I got that big poster from them. Got some other good comics here. I got Malika, Warrior Queen Chapter 1. None of these I've read yet, but I just picked them up because they all look cool. So there's a little picture of her on the back there. I think it totally makes me think of Legend of Zelda, especially with the new color scheme for Breath of the Wild being blue. That's all I think of when I look at this, especially because it's blue and she's got the little triangles. I don't know how well that'll show up. But yeah, you can see them. It just makes me think of Legend of Zelda because of that. So that's what's in my head every time I look at that thing now. Of course, I had to get this. I freaking love Ninja Turtles, so I had to pick up the Ninja Turtles Free Comic Book Day comic. I love this backside where it's just black and it just has the turtles on it, so that's pretty freaking awesome to me. But I love this. I love Ninja Turtles. I love the current series, even with their really odd breaks where it's you get 3 episodes in a row and then you get 2 months on break because they just have a weird animation schedule for some reason. But I had to get the Turtles because I love the Turtles. Actually, all of these are upside down. I just realized that. I got the Street Fighter V comic. I actually got the comic last year as well for Street Fighter V. This is the wrestling edition. You can see the wrestling special on the bottom there. I forgot what it was last year, but there was definitely a Street Fighter V comic. I think Charlie was on there. I think it was showing off all the new characters that were coming in, and it was related to Charlie and maybe one of the other new characters. I can't remember who. Well, I guess technically he's not Charlie anymore. It's because he's in zombie mode or whatever. But I got the comic from last year. It's probably here somewhere actually. But also picked up Wonder Woman Rebirth. Had to pick this up. It just looks on. It's a great cover. It's a really great cover art. Of course, Wonder Woman is coming out, so naturally they're gonna have Wonder Woman as one of the big free comic book day comics. So I figured I'd pick that up. I don't really read any, I mostly because I don't have money, I don't really read any comics. But I was like, I really do like Wonder Woman, so I definitely wanted to make sure I at least got that one for free comic book day. One of the other ones I felt I had to pick up was the Twilight Princess Legend of Zelda comic, which is really cool, and it opens like a manga, which is really freaking awesome. So that made me like it a little bit more. So it opens up, well, for us, I guess it would be in the opposite direction. But if you read manga, you're totally used to this. But it's just an excerpt from the actual manga version of the entire game, and then it has the other things on here. So that's Ocarina of Time, Legendary Edition. That's just a full manga version of that. And then this is, it's a full color graphic novel of A Link to the Past. So that's what this one is here. So you can find all of these in stores. This is actually this is the most recent game that I got, which is, I bought like the HD version for the Wii U because it came with the Wolf Link amiibo. And I still have yet to play that game. So if I read this, I'll know more from the manga than I will from the actual freaking video game, because I haven't even played it yet, but I have it. Of course, had to get Rick and Morty. Got to get some Rick and Morty because that's freaking awesome. Love Rick and Morty. Got into that. I got into it pretty late. I got into it after season 2 had finished, and all of season 1 was on Hulu, but season 2 wasn't on there for some odd reason. So I was like struggling to watch random episodes of season 2 as they were airing, and then finally, when the season 3 premiere came out on April Fool's Day, I went back to check Hulu, and all of season 2 was on there. So I got to watch all the episodes I missed from season 2, and then now I'm all caught up. So got Rick and Morty, which is super awesome, and I didn't know they had comics, so that makes me want to get some Rick and Morty comics, because it's just the type of show that's definitely worth having comics for. So definitely had to pick that up and get some laughs out of it. Got Lady Mechanica here. I've seen this before, but I still haven't read it. It just looks freaking awesome, and that's why I picked it up. So really got nothing on it, but it looks freaking cool. This is also from Green Brain Comics. This is a special thing, Chad Agamemnon. And this is taking place like in Ann Arbor. So I thought that was cool. It was something I could pick up for free from one of the people that was actually like selling items. And they gave away a free comic. So I was like, I have to pick that up, especially if it's based on something that I know, because I live in the area. So I thought that was cool. Then moving on to some of the older comics that I actually got for free, because I went to a place that did something that personally I've never experienced, but they had a thing where you get 3 free comic book day comics, and then you get 3 free old comics as well. So I got some pretty cool, well, I don't know if they're cool because I haven't read any of these yet, but the covers are sweet. And I picked like basically all team up stuff, and it was like Daredevil with a bunch of characters on the front. So it's Man Without Fear, and I was like, well, you got a bunch of characters on there, I'm going to pick it up. It's a fairly thick one too. It's got quite a few pages. It's got like 60 pages to it. Yeah, 64 is the last page. So I picked it up because I was like, I gotta, like, it's got a bunch of characters on the front. It's a sweet cover and a buttload of characters. I'm like, that's some team up stuff. That's the type of comic for me. Then I picked up Ghost Rider and the X-Men. That was automatic. I was like, I love the X-Men, and I actually really do like Ghost Rider. So of course had to pick that up. And then the last one that I picked up, this is a solo one, but the cover was so freaking sweet. I've never even heard of this comic, but I have to admit, it's Shadowhawk 2. And this was the cover. And I was just like, you know what, it's a sweet freaking cover, I don't care, and so I picked it up, and that was pretty much the only reason. It looked sweet, plus it had the backing and everything, so it's like in decent condition as well. And I was like, yep, I'm just going to pick that up, because that looks freaking cool. He looks kind of like Wolverine a little bit, especially right there, but, you know, it was just like, that looks so freaking sweet, just the black and like the little bits of silver. Like, that's a very artistic cover, and I loved it, so I was like, that was like my sole reason for picking that up, was that it looked sweet. And it was free, of course, because even though it was sweet, I wouldn't have paid for it, especially if I don't know it, but, you know, it just looked really cool, so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up. And then moving on to the items that I actually purchased, this is actually the first time I believe I purchased anything on Free Comic Book Day. I always just go in and get my free comics. Well, that's not true. Last year I bought posters, but I didn't buy comics, I bought like posters from like actual vendors at the stores and stuff. But this time I actually bought some comics, and I finally got Scott Pilgrim 1 and 2. Let me lift these up. I got the color print versions, so I've been waiting to get these for a super long time. And I was like, you know what? I'm at the store. I'm looking at it again for the millionth freaking time. So starting off, of course, Scott Pilgrim, #1, Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life. I feel like it's not zooming in. There it is. So that's freaking awesome. Full color pages, and it's like, just look at all that. Like, that just looks good. So picked this up. I could have picked up the complete series collection because they have the black and white box set, which comes with like an exclusive poster and stuff. But I was like, no, I want the color edition. They're also larger because the black and white versions were probably like, I'd say up to like the #3 here. So they're a bit bigger, so bigger panels, is bigger pictures and everything. Plus their color. So I was like, I gotta pick it up. So got #1 and also got #2 as well, which is actually Scott Pilgrim versus the World, of course, which the film was titled after. Actually, this one feels way bigger than this one. Didn't realize that the first time, but yeah, there are quite a few more pages in the second one, so that's nice. But yeah, had to pick these up. Once again, full color. Oh, there's an opening there. But yeah, full color. You know, you got your red on the first one, blue on this one. Blue's my favorite, so I got a bit of a bias towards this one. But yeah, got 1 and 2. I of course have to read through these. I don't know what I'm gonna do as far as reviews because these things are like $25 a piece. So I don't know how I'm gonna end up doing that. I want to review these, even if it's super old. I just want to review them. So I might do that, but the reviews would be like almost like 2 full years apart, depending on how I actually end up purchasing. But those are the last 2 things that I actually got on Comic Book Day. Decided to, you know, like I said, I've been looking at them forever. I would always see them online. When I first heard that they were coming out, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely not going to buy the black and white version. I'll just wait for the, the color version of the comic to come out. And now the whole series is completely out because I think they came out like, that may have been like 2 years ago when they first started releasing these. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't know there was a color version coming out. And the first issue came out and I was like, okay, well, I'll wait till, the color versions come out and then I'll get those. And then, a year and a half later, I'm finally picking up the first and second one at the same time. So, decided to finally get those, and that was kind of how I ended out Free Comic Book Day for myself. But it was definitely good. I went to more stores than I ever have, so that was really fun because normally on Free Comic Book Day, I either wouldn't remember or, I just didn't know about as many places or anything like that. So I had the event for the radio station. That was the first place I went to. And then I went to, I think, 3 other locations as well. I just looked up comic book stores in the area. I found like 1 new one that I didn't know about, and it was actually super close. That was the worst thing. I was like, man, if I knew this last year, it was literally like, maybe they were like 5 minutes apart. I was like, I wish I knew about this place last year. It was like the second place I went to, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the other place I know. And I went down the street and then made a left, and I was like, it was right there the whole time. I was there for like, in that area for like an entire, for a couple of years actually. And I had no idea that little comic book store was like right down the street. I had never had a clue. So that was actually the place where I got the older comics too. So that was really fun. I was like, man, I wish I knew about this the past couple of years. I would have been checking this store out way more often, or just in general if I knew it existed. But I definitely had a good Free Comic Book Day. Got my purchases, got my free stuff, got some classic free stuff, which is really cool because the Free Comic Book Day stuff, like, well, if you go to it, you know how it is. So sometimes they'll be really cool. Sometimes they're mostly like, ad comics sometimes. So it was really cool to actually get some legitimate old comics. So I really appreciated that. Plus, like I said, the 64 page, I didn't realize this, that it says it right there. It's the annual 64 pages. So, got some old stuff. Look at that crunching lunch. Look how old that ad is. Jeez. Crazy. But I had a good day for sure. Picked up some really cool stuff. Of course, I would love to know what your favorite comics were that you guys picked up. What comics you guys may have missed if you didn't get to go to as many stores. Because there was a place that I went to. Actually, the place when I got these, I got there a little bit too late because of like some random business crap, and I ended up missing I guess about like 30 minutes. They closed like a little bit before I got there. Or at least they stopped doing the free comics. The store was open, but they stopped doing the free comics like a little bit before I got there. And I was so upset. I got all the comics I really wanted. But I was like, man, I would have loved to have been able to, this Free Comic Book Day, just get more free comics. So that was like the one thing I was upset about. Where I was like, crap, I totally could have made it here if I didn't have to go to that business meeting. But that's all in the vlog. Like I said, I'll have that up at some point. But we'd love to know what free comics you guys got, what purchases you guys made, whether it was comics or maybe just comic related. If you got some memorabilia, anything like that, necklaces, hats, shirts, who knows, you name it. But we'd love to know your experience on Free Comic Book Day this year. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.